Halloween. No one dressed up today, huh? You did? All right, I got you. Jeez. All right. So here we are. We're looking forward to coming off the good win last week and get into practice this week. Got some good weather outside, which is nice, and puts everybody in a good mood. So looking forward to detailing our stuff and getting ready to play a Buffalo Bills team up there in a tough environment.
What's the latest on the exact diagnosis of Kyle and his foot?
Yeah, so again, his is it is his right foot, and for us right now, he's in a boot, so we're still in that week-to-week thing for him. You know, we're hoping. We don't know the complete extent to it yet, but we just know that for him right now, we're trying to just get through the point of figuring out throughout this week and the following weeks exactly how long it's going to be.
Just assume there's bones in there.
Is there what?
Broken bones.
Well, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but there's an issue in regards to some of the I guess the ligament, or not the ligament, but the tendon. There's some issues there. So, but I think, you know, it's for him, and he's frustrated, and anytime that happens, you could tell he was in pain. It wasn't anything to do with his other injury there. So it is what it is, and now we gotta you know, get him going rehab wise, mentally wise, and then get the next man up.
So just to confirm, you don't have an exact timeline figured out?
Not timeline. No, there's no timeline figured out with him. We are completely week to week with him right now.
But you're not going to put him on IR.
Again, those are decisions we're going through. So we're not there yet. We don't need to be. So once we need to get to that point, then we'll decide what we need to do.
You said tendon. Is that the Achilles tendon?
No. And don't get real crazy specific with me, because I just know it has to do with his foot.
Did you say it's not connected to the ankle injury 2 years ago?
It's not. No. This happened in the game.
What is the decision process when you sit there and try and decide whether to put him on IR or not?
Well, I think it's the timing of it, and then obviously the rules that come into play throughout the NFL with the rules that they have of how it works, and then roster-wise what you want to do. So there's some things that you got to get into that Ryan and I need to discuss and talk about, and but that all comes with the territory. You try to prepare for these things. I think that's one of the good things that Ryan has done an awesome job at teaching me and helping me through is if you get into these situations, we always try to stay one step ahead, and that goes back to the depth again. So if you run into a situation like this, then who's the next guy up? And that's where then you get into your coaches of a guy like Coach Heastan teaching these younger guys so that when you get into a predicament like this, you feel comfortable.
So, man, does Cush move over to the right side? And if so, how does that impact, you know, your offense?
Yeah, well, again, we're working through that. We have good players that we feel between those three guys, James, Cush, and Witzman, that we feel confident in all three, and then we'll work through where they're at and when they play and how they play.
There's no consideration moving Cody off of center then?
No, we haven't approached that. No. Hey.
Such a big presence going on and off the field. What kind of a loss is it for what extended period of time?
Yeah, he is a big presence. He for us, you know, he's still in the meetings. He's still around. His big personality is around what you love. It's like that with a lot of our guys that we've lost. I mean, for him though, in his situation, to be around just like today and being in the meetings, nothing's changed there. We're all there for him. He's there for us, and now again, I mean that we have to have guys that are ready at all positions, and no matter what, you can't have excuses as a team. You got to roll, and that's where we're at. That's what we got to deal with, and we got to see just how it continues to go here.
Will Adam Shaheen practice this week?
Again, we're not there yet. He's getting really close, but you know, he's real close. I'll say that.
And how did Witzman fare as a replacement in the single injury situation in Kansas City last year?
He did well. Yeah, he played well, and you know, for playing for us last year for around 13 games. You know, at a position where we had an injury go down, and he came on and stepped in and did a good job. So it's comforting knowing that. It's the same thing with Cush. Two guys that I'm familiar with that know our system, know our protections, know our run game. So, they have to be themselves when they come in here. They can't try to be Kyle as we go, and whoever it is, wherever it is, play ball and cut it loose.
Man, this is obviously a really good Buffalo defense that you
Yeah.
go against. What are your impressions of what's giving them their teeth right now on that side of the ball?
So, number one, schematically with Sean and Leslie, they do a really good job with. I know how Sean teaches, and he's very smart. He teaches his guys to play extremely fast and aggressive, so they fly around. I mean, it is evident on tape how much they trust the system on defense. If they make a mistake, they make a mistake playing fast. And then Sean does a really good job at disguising coverages, disguising blitzes. That's just who he is and how he works. So we got to be dotting our I's and crossing our T's and know exactly what we're doing. But they believe in each other as a defense. You saw it on Monday night against New England. You know, they were doing a great job versus them, and it got away from them there at the end of the game. But their defense was really playing well.
Matt, with the way they rotate their front,
Yeah.
how does that affect an offense?
Well, you know, when they bring in some other guys, you can get some energy from guys, whether they're coming outside. But 55 Hughes, now he's been doing that for a long time, ever since college, and it doesn't look like he's getting any older by any means. I mean, he's wreaking havoc on the quarterback. He's creating strip fumbles, sacks. He can stress a tackle. And then Lawson, and then the guys on the inside with Williams and Starr. I mean, they have a really, really good front four. And then you put those backers in there that mesh up well with them. They're aggressive, and they take that green grass that we always talk about, and they shut that down.
Man, we got to see you mic'd up this past week on the sideline.
Was it edited?
Yeah, it was. Pretty good.
Yeah. Good job, Fabes.
Your interactions with Mitch, you have a lot going on now more as a head coach. How imperative do you find yourself reminding yourself to make sure you grab Mitch every now and then?
Yeah, I do need to remind myself at times, just because you're trying to focus on all aspects of the game. I'm so used to sitting on the bench next to him the quarterback after every series, talking through, going through that. But for me, every now and then, if I feel like there's a time where I got to talk to him and maybe, you know, just have a little one-on-one conversation, I'll do it. I don't overdo it. I try not to, because then it just becomes noise that he doesn't hear, and I don't want to. When I talk to him, I want it to mean something, and so I think that's important to have that relationship. I also think it's important for him to have a great relationship and trust with his quarterback coach Ragone and Mark Helford, GOC.
As you spoke to him on that, we saw challenging him at halftime for greatness in the second half. What was your thinking there? You know, what compelled you to do that, and how do you feel like he responded?
No, I think he responded well. You know, Mitch will be the first to tell you that as an offense, we weren't clicking in the first half, and so sometimes you need that spark. And Mitch naturally does that. He has that in him, and he'll get the guys going. But I felt like at that time right there, it was still a very close game. We were getting ready to get the ball to start the third quarter, and you look for that spark. And for what it's worth, I just want him to know that I'm behind him, that I support him. But I also want him to know that I'm going to put my thumb on him too, and make sure that I expect him to be great. And so I want to challenge him into seeing him do great things. And so there's no one on our football team that's going to accept the challenge more than him. And you know, I think there's times that ultimately in the end we wanted to come out with the win. And I think I was really proud of him on the touchdown pass he made. Again, we always talk about is it the plays or the players? And that one there was the players. They made great plays.
As you went back this past Sunday and you look back at that game, what was your impression of the running game and kind of where you stand relative to where you want to be?
Yeah, so the running game was it was okay. Again, it wasn't great. We can be better. Where I thought situationally it was good was where we got a couple first downs when they knew that we were going to run the football. We started out good, had some nice runs on the first drive, hit a little lull in the second quarter, had some incompletions as well to tie with it, and then we just kind of kept going and you know, Tariq only had one carry, but it was for 21 yards in the second half. And then Jordan had 16 carries. So, and then he had a 24-yarder in a 4-minute drive. So that part was good. Overall, I still think I know we can be better, and that's what's great about this is our guys understand that, our coaches understand it, and so we're going to keep plugging away until we get that.
Has it been more difficult than you anticipated to kind of get that going, you know, the way that you had hoped?
No, No, not at all. It's what I expected. I didn't expect to come in here and just start, rolling in any phase. It takes time. This thing doesn't happen overnight. I've been saying that.
What are Eric Cush's best attributes that have made him a trustworthy guy for you?
Yeah, well, he's a fighter. He's very competitive. He's a guy that his knowledge of knowing the protections and knowing where to go with the callbackers and in the run game, he has that in his back pocket. And then, here's a kid that played Division II football, so the fighter. I mean, he's battled a lot of odds. He beat a lot of odds, and so whenever he gets challenged or put in a position to do well, he's done a great job of that so far. So he had that injury, and now he'll be back, and we need him back.
Matthew, you touched on how you deal with Mitch during the games. Compared to your past, how has your role with the quarterback changed this year as head coach overall? I mean, are you still the developer of a quarterback? You've been a quarterback coach, a coordinator. How has that role changed with the quarterback?
Yeah, the only time that it's changed is after an install meeting when I'm installing to the team. Is I'll get with them. And I'll make sure that I touch on all the topics with the plays, any questions we might have, or any details within a play, and then I head up to my office and get other stuff done. Whereas before, that's where I would have those guys for another 20 minutes per se on that day. But I make up for that in times of talking to them out on the field and pulling them aside and asking questions. And then when you're in this role, what you try to do is you become the your quarterback coaches and your coordinators can become kind of the conduit to the quarterback. Where you run into trouble is when you never communicate, or then all of a sudden you go in this dark room and you never communicate with the quarterback. That's not happening with me. I'm always in constant communication with all those guys, the quarterbacks and the coaches, and so the communication process is good, and I feel very comfortable with it.
Do you miss that part of it?
Do I miss that part? Yeah, yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in those rooms that's good to learn, football and non-football. But I'm good with where I'm at.
When you look at the Bills-Vikings game and what they did to take control of that game, what jumps out to you about that?
So in that game, I thought that Buffalo did a good job of coming into it, just with an attack mode. I mean, they came to play football, and I just know from playing this team over the years that's how they do it. And when you play them, especially at home, when you play them in their place, it's very rowdy, it's very loud, they're on top of you, they love their football, and so you better bring your A game, because if you don't, you'll be in trouble. And I thought that was a game where they were on the road against a good football team, and they still did that. So I really respect Sean and those players for that.
What do you find you need to do with players to look past a 2-6 record and see some of that edge and that potential that a team like this has?
Well, that's my job starting yesterday when you talk to these guys and today, and making them understand there's way too much parity in this league. If anybody on this team, player or coach, is doing that, they need to get out of this building and out of this place. Don't even think about it. You can't do that. I've been a part of both sides of that, and there's just way too much parity. Anybody that looked at an 0-2 Bills team going into that Vikings game thought the same thing, and look what happened. We don't think that way, so I'm not going to let our players think that way.
On their defense, they've only allowed 2 passing plays of 30 or more yards.
Yeah.
What do they do to kind of limit those explosive plays?
So they got good players and they got good coaches. I mean, they change things up. They play a lot of zone, and then they sprinkle man in when they need to. They disguise where they're coming from on blitzes. They pressure the quarterback. They make you make poor decisions. They're opportunistic. The easiest way I can put it is there's a little bit of controlled chaos to them. They fly around and it's chaotic, and it can try to make you scramble. You saw a couple times last week, Monday night, where there's some times where Tom Brady is back there and his feet got a little quick and he had to dirt the ball. I mean, they're good. They're a good defense.
What's your hourly update on Khalil Mack and
Yeah.
what to expect from him in terms of participation?
Well, it'll be very similar to what he did last week. Very similar. So I hopefully he's getting better. I feel like he is, but again, it's going to be what we just went through last week is going to be very similar this week.
What about Allen?
Same thing. Yep.
Offensively, when Buffalo threw that wildcat formations early in the game,
Yeah.
what were you thinking there?
So they're now LaShawn's done that before. He's done it, going back to Bishop McDevitt in Pennsylvania in high school. I got to see him do it, and that's just, it looked like that was something that they were cooking up to do for that game. I don't know if that's something they're going to get ready for this game, but all coordinators are different, and they feel like they have an advantage doing it. That's what they'll do.
And just curious, when you're mic'd up, how aware are you that you are mic'd up and that every private conversation you public?
Well, number one, I know within the first 5 minutes I am. And then I forgot that I was, and I forgot the whole time until I got into my office after the game, and I made them take the wire off me, and then I trust Fabes to make sure that this thing's going the right way.
Have you seen some of the reactions to it? I mean, what?
No, is it good or bad?
Really good.
Good. I hope so. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, I know there could be some bad stuff on there, but it sounds like Fabe did a good job, or in the media. So I don't know.
Take the outtakes.
Huh?
We'll take the outtakes of the stuff that got cut if you want to give it.
Yeah. What was the best part?
Mitch stuff.
Oh, the Mitch stuff.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Good.
Well, another thing that you said is you kind of grabbed Jordan Howard and said, I'm going to get you going, I promise.
Yeah.
Is that something that you have to reassure him of often, or was that just kind of in the heat of the moment?
See, I didn't know the wire was on when I said that. But no, that's real. That's real. That's how I feel. That's what I've been, saying, and how I feel about all these players on the team, and all these players, regardless of what position and what side of the ball you're on, they all have feelings, right? And they all want to do well for their team, and we all understand that we can be better in the run game. We need to be better in the run game, but that's not because of one person, one coach, one part of the. I mean, it's together collectively. And I was just happy for Jordan. He ran the ball hard there, and then to be able for him to get that touchdown and to have the prior run before that and just keep plugging away. I think it just goes to show who he is. He doesn't say a whole lot. He just does his job, and I really like that about him. And he's a team player, and that was just a moment that we had that obviously was on.
You think it's important? Sorry.
In regards to that run game, I remember in the beginning of the season, you said you were still getting to learn
Yeah.
how Tariq was, how
Yeah.
Jordan was, and how to use them in this offense. Do you feel like you have a really good feel for that now?
I don't have a great feel yet. I'm getting there, but I'm getting close. I'm getting close. We are. When I say I'm talking about our coaching staff. This isn't just a me thing. We're all trying to figure out what's the best thing for us, and we take input from the players too. So our players will we'll ask them for input. They'll give us input, and then we try to see if it works, test it out. And then when you find a magic potion, you stick to it, and then they try to beat you the next week, and then you got to try to stay one step ahead. So we're getting close. We're not there yet. We're not there yet in the passing game either. We got a ways to go there too.
To go back to the mic'd up stuff, do you think it's important that fans see you like that or get an inside look?
I don't mind it. I do. This game for everybody is it's just too important for so many people that care about the game in so many different ways. I think it's great for everybody to be able to understand when it's authentic and when people. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you get to get in there and understand what goes on in certain scenarios, whether it's a practice or whether it's a game, whatever it is. There's a lot of good stuff that goes on with coaches and players, and there's some personal things too that not everybody needs to know about. But if there's a balance of knowing, it's okay. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I've been there growing up. You love seeing that kind of stuff, and you can appreciate that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
Mitch, what stands out to you about the Bills' front seven, the way they're able to rotate guys and get a lot of pressure?
Yeah, it's impressive. They're super aggressive. They get after it. They don't really take plays off, and they just wreak havoc up front. And they're just trying to cause as much trouble as possible. And like I said, they fly the ball and they don't really take plays off. So that, I mean, when you watch that on film, we got to match that intensity every single snap.
Coach Nagy called it kind of controlled chaos, and they've only allowed 2 passing plays of 30 or more yards. I mean, the back end and limiting those big plays, what have you seen out of them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely something they're really good at, and we just got to take what the defense gives us. So we're not trying to force plays down the field. I think you let them happen, and you just got to take care of what they're bringing at you up front and just play our game, try to keep them off balanced, and just try to be as solid as we can in protection and the runs, and really stop that penetration early on. So it's going to be a challenge, and it's a great opportunity for us to prove ourselves on offense.
We were talking to Matt. He was mic'd up for the game, and I don't know if you've seen the final product.
I didn't see it. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go watch it after this.
One of the things that caught was him talking to you near the sideline. Looked like the start of the third quarter, and he said, "I challenge you for greatness in the second half." And you just said, yes, sir. And then you obviously played the second half. You did. Curious, processing that back. What did that mean to you at the time? That challenge and the way you responded to it.
Yeah, I mean, every single snap and every single game, I mean, really every single week, you're striving for greatness. But I think when he just pulled me aside and really, I think it really just honed me in, made me focus a lot more, and just made me that more motivated to just focus in and do what I had to do to help the offense and really get us going. And I got so much respect and love for Coach that, I mean, he just said it, and I need to make it happen. So I played a little bit better the second half, but I'm trying to be consistent. That's what I'm trying to do all the time, but it definitely means a lot coming from him.
He used the word, he said, Mitch knows I have his back, but he also said he also wants you to know that he's got his thumb on you. And finding that balance of support,
Sure.
also pushing you. How do you feel like that has evolved through the first 7 games?
I love it. I think the best players, they want to be the hardest workers, and they also want to be pushed the most. So we have a really good relationship where I want him criticizing and I want him pushing me all the time. But we also have that loving relationship, and then we have that respect that goes both ways. That I know he just wants the best for me, and me, I just want the best for him as well. So no hard feelings and no sensitivity when I'm being criticized, because he does want me to be great. He said it the second half, and that's what I'm trying to go out and do.
When you guys have those interactions, when he uses words like challenge and greatness, you said it makes you hone in. Does that click right away? I mean, take me through what?
Yeah, for sure. It's not just me, it's the offense. So every week he challenges us for different things. And last week it was be aggressive and finish, and that's what we were. We were aggressive in our mentality and play calling the whole game, and then we finally finished when we got a lead the second half. So when he says that, I think it just makes us more goal-oriented and more focused, and then we just go out and execute it that way. So when he gives us stuff like that, I think that's what great leaders do, and he definitely backs it up as well.
How tough to hear the news about Kyle, and what's the biggest challenge moving forward without him?
Yeah, definitely. When you, it's tough to hear news like that. One of our brothers and other family going down, and we're going to support him all the way and back him up. And then it's next man up mentality. So we got a lot of depth at the O-line. I feel really comfortable with where we're at and who's stepping in there. So we just got to have a great work week of practice and communicate a lot. Everyone stay on the same page, so we're able to not miss a beat and just go out there and execute like we know how.
Mitch, one of the areas that's really improved since the first few weeks of the season is in the red zone. What do you attribute that to?
Great practices, great red zone practices, just putting an emphasis on it and focus. And just when we get down there, we got to take advantage of every opportunity. And I think that's something we just got a lot better at with our mentality, our focus. And then we realize once we get down there, the really good offenses in this league, they take advantage of that, and they finish with touchdowns and not settling for field goals. So I think it's a result of just focus and execution and making the transition from great practices and transitioning it over to the game.
Mitch, Coach Nagy was talking about not underestimating a Bills team that's kind of struggled lately. What was his message to you about that?
I mean, for us, looking on film, we know they're a really great defense, so we're definitely not underestimating them at all. And then second thing, I mean, this is the NFL. You could throw records out the window. Anybody can win any given Sunday. So we're going out there. We got a lot of respect for this team and the defense. It's going to be a big challenge for us, and we're excited for the opportunity. So we expect to go into a hostile environment, and it's a challenge every week. So we just got to answer the bell, have a great week of practice, and go out there and make it happen on Sunday.
It seems like every week we're talking about establishing chemistry with a different receiver, whether it's Allen to Trey to Taylor and now Anthony. What's that process like been for you, developing rapport with 4 or 5 guys, throughout?
Yeah, for sure. It's part of this process of having all new guys come to this organization and in a brand new offense, being in the first year altogether. So every day we're learning new things about each other and how we like to play and what routes suits us best. And we also got a lot of new stuff going in with this offense. So it's a learning and growing process every day. And you're just trying to, just like everything else, to focus, be goal-oriented on what we need to work on every single week so that chemistry does build. And we're just creating that chemistry on every single route, every single concept, and just honing in and focusing on everything else. So we're not thinking too much, and we're just let it happen naturally and organically.
Talk about consistency in your fundamentals all the time, and in the game saw you drop your arm slot a couple times, throw from different angles. How did it work well for you? How did it work poorly for you at times? What did you make of all?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, sometimes it could help. Sometimes it got me in trouble, and I think sometimes it's pressure up front. You're trying to throw around a D lineman, and it works, and then sometimes it comes out really sloppy. So I just gotta. It's just got to be more consistent. It's got to be more consistent. Finding the passing windows. A lot of the time, it's bringing my feet instead of just trying to change my arm slot. So the more consistent I could be, I think the more you'll see the completion percentage go up, and I'll just be a lot more consistent. So a lot of times you get away with it, but more times than not you won't. So it's just finding that balance, using my instincts, but also just creating a way, especially when we get deeper and deeper into the season. You just can't get away with it.
Kind of talk about the inconsistencies there, but where does this offense's success scoring points come from, even when the inconsistencies are there and maybe it's not as clean as you guys might like it to be?
For sure. It's definitely got to be all 11 guys playing as one. When everyone just locks in, does their job, and we execute the play we know how, and you just do exactly what you're taught and coached to do, and get the ball to the playmakers and let them do the work, then I think that's where this offense can become really dangerous. But when we kind of get away and do our own thing, then I think that's when I get trouble, when everyone else gets trouble. But when everyone's on the same page, locked in, that's when you see us just go down the field, pick up first downs, and finish in the red zone.
Mitch, a big part of your job is to look at just the next play, the next game, or whatever. But do you ever catch yourself looking at the big picture of where this offense is headed, especially considering the progress you've made?
Yeah, for sure. We do see the big picture. I know I do, and it's just me talking to Coach Nagy all the time of just where this offense is going to be and how we need to continue to get better week after week. And you just got to realize there's going to be setbacks, but there's also going to be a lot of growth. And we just got to continue to find our identity and celebrate the small victories when we do have growth and progress within this offense. And then when we make mistakes, just look at those and see how we can get better and continue to evolve as an offense.
Went back to the game there. Jets score, make it a one-score game, 17-10. You guys go back, drive, and make it a two-score game again. What did you sense of Jordan Howard? So you guys kind of started rolling there and got downfield to the end zone.
For sure, it was just not blinking in his offense. Just, all right, this is what we got to do. Let's go down, do our job. Everyone stick together, and let's put a drive together to really put this game away. So it was just the mentality and focus I was really proud of, and I think it did show our maturity at the time, and it shows where this offense could be when we need to put the game away. So everyone's locked in, and I think that drive was just everyone being on the same page, execution after execution, going down, picking up first downs, had a couple of big third down conversions, and that's what you got to do to put the game away and go down and score. So I was really proud of that drive.
You went back to Josh Bellamy in some key moments in the game. He's I mean, really the one wide receiver you had last year too. But what have you come to appreciate with him?
For sure. Joshua Bellamy, we call him JB, sorry. Yeah, he knows the offense really, really well, and he's someone I could always rely on. He's going to be in the right spot at the right time, and then he's just got a nose for picking up first downs and making big plays for this offense. So someone I got a lot of trust in, and he was able to separate in key situations in the second half on those big drives that we needed. And I'm just going to continue to rely on him as well as other guys and continue to just create that chemistry. So when we get to third down, it doesn't really matter who I'm going to. I got a lot of trust in all those guys, but I got a lot of trust in JB and what he could do for this offense. So he got open in key moments, and I was just really finding the open guy, and it just happened to be him.
Mitch, one of those completions on that third down, you climbed the pocket to find him and obviously kept your eyes up. What have you, how do you feel like you've evolved in terms of making sure you're climbing instead of either backing up or maybe bailing out the side of the pocket?
Yeah, always feeling out the pocket, doing a lot of drills to try to simulate that in practice, and just having calm feet, keeping my base so I'm always ready to throw, and most importantly, having my eyes downfield so you're able to find guys and take pressure off my linemen, not move into trouble, just kind of navigate through the pocket so I'm able to see the passing lanes and get the ball to the receivers. So it's something I'm continuing working on week after week, and the really good quarterbacks in the league can navigate in the pocket, create more times for themselves, and just find open receivers downfield. So that's something I'm just trying to get better at every single week.
What do you know about the Bills Mafia?
They jump on tables and go crazy. Love it. It's exciting. I want to see some Bears fans jump on table. I shouldn't say that. Take that back. Yeah. Crazy.
Thanks, Mitch.